Hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. With me, I have the Western Wonder, and this is going to be our movie news segment. So, do me a favor, show us some class, and smash that like button, smash that comment button, and tell us what you think of Movie Lovers Unite. Also, too, give us a 5-star review over at Movie Lovers Unite on all major podcast platforms. It helps other people to be able to find our podcast. And without further ado, let's go on ahead. Let's do this. I'm excited to be able to do some movie news. And how are you doing, Western?
I'm Westernly. How are you doing today?
I'm Southernly. Doing good.
That'll work. That'll work.
Yes, it will. But yeah, guys, so this is our first news segment in a while. And so it's going to be a little bit different, a different type of format on how I'm going to be handling it. So I hope you guys enjoy it. But here's the thing. This is actually going to give you a little bit of context, and then you can form your own opinions and tell us what your opinions are, because they might be different than ours. So let's go on ahead. Let's go and dive into it. So
Let's do this.
what I want to do is I want to break into, before we actually do the big news with Barbie, I do want us to talk about Blue Beetle.
Oh,
And
yes.
so, based on your report with Rotten Tomatoes, what was the Rotten Tomatoes score that you found?
Well, the latest one that I sent you, it was in the 80s, but I think it's dropped down to 79 for the critic score. I think the
Okay.
audience score is so far still in the 90s. So that seems good. That sounds good.
That sounds good, but I'm hoping that people will go out and support this movie. DC definitely needs a win. This is also, some people are saying this is actually the last DCU movie. I want to say that's actually false because of the fact that this is a DCU property that's supposed to jumpstart the DCU. And I think that you need a movie like Blue Beetle to come out that's fun. It's lightheartedness.
Hmm.
It also has a lot of things working for itself. You also have the main actor that played in Cobra Kai in this movie. Then also too, it's also the very first Latino superhero. So I'm hoping that people go out and support it because of those reasons. Just like how Black Panther was able to pull that off with being the first black superhero for representation for people of color, which is something that I think that was a beautiful thing about the Black Panther movie. So what do
Hmm.
you think whenever you see the score and things like that?
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I think Blue Beetle kind of bodes well in terms of maybe box office legs and how everybody receives it. I think coming into it has a lot more going for it compared to some of DC's earlier fare from this year, such as Shazam and The Flash. So it's got a lot of pieces in there. It's a very diverse cast going for it. The visuals look interesting. Also helps that it's not too competitive a weekend in terms of new offerings. You just got another movie that's about foul mouthed dogs, voiced by Will Ferrell and Jamie
Right.
Foxx. I don't know if that's going to do much, but it's,
I don't see strays. I don't see Barbie bitch slapping strays. I'm sorry. I just don't see her slapping those strays down and be like, no, this is my number one spot. But I do see Blue Beetle probably being number two and Barbie being number one still.
yeah,
And I want
I
this
think
movie to be a
yeah,
success.
yeah. I think it's time for Oppenheimer to drop down. It's time.
And okay, so opening weekend range, they're ranging it between 22 to 32 million, which is actually pretty good for a DC film and
Yeah,
stuff like that. And
because
also, too, this is actually the lowest budget DC film that we've had.
oh really?
I want to say it is because let me look at the budget real quick. It's 120 million. That's actually a little bit less than 150 million dollars than what we had with Batman
That's
versus.
still money because that's not
Yeah,
counting the marketing.
yeah, that does not count the marketing team or anything like that. But I'm hoping that it draws in the crowd from the Cobra Kai series, draws in the crowd from the Latino community and stuff like that. Some people are like, well, what about George Lopez? Is George Lopez a
I
reason
know
why people
how.
will go? I don't like Batman. Batman's a fascist.
He's a
But no.
fascist. I know how.
Oh mio. But no, here's the thing though. I don't see people going for George Lopez. George
No, or
Lopez's
Susan
time,
Sarandon.
right. I don't see that them being the forefront for this. I see it landing for Cobra Kai and straying into going into with the lead actor, the actor from Cobra Kai, and drawing
Yeah.
in that crowd. And I'm actually one of those people that they would actually draw in as
Hmm.
well, because I am a huge Cobra Kai fan.
Oh, there you go.
But
Well,
Strays will
you'll
counter
probably be
as
the
an
opening
R-rated,
weekend.
right? But also too, if you think about it, though, Strays will counter as an R-rated comedy with a voice cast led by Will Ferrell, Jamie Foxx, at as the first bona fide, pun intended, comedy to open since Barbie. There remains some sleeper potential. A LA fellow August openers, Good Boys 2019 and Sausage Party 2016.
Yeah.
But Barbie and Oppenheimer will remain mostly uncontested for each one's primary audience in their fifth weekend of release, with some caveats noted. But yeah,
Yeah. Start difference because the Blue Beetle opened with over 3 million in previews. Strays just did over 1 million. I
right.
don't even know what the Sundance movie did. Landscape with Invisible Hand. I didn't. I hardly saw a promo for that one, so I don't know how that
Like
was going to do.
I actually had
Yeah.
a friend of mine that asked me this the other day, right? He said, "Do you think that people are fatigued of comic book based movies?" I said, "No. I think they're tired of getting cheaply made comic book movies for expensive price.
Mm,
For example, you have a $150 million price tag or a $250 million price tag trying to make money on the box office,
yeah.
and you have to work twice as hard to earn your money back.
Hmm.
So I think that Blue Beetle has a fighting chance at being number one. I'm gonna go on ahead and bumped up the numbers a little bit. It said basically the numbers would be particularly 22 to 32 million. I'm gonna say generously it'll be 40 million.
That's very generous. You're doing better than me. I'm doing probably 25 at the most. I'm not
You'll,
sold on it beating Barbie. I feel like if it doesn't, then definitely the September releases will. The Equalizer or Expendables will definitely knock it out.
but here's the thing though. Expendables has been out since 2010. It's a long-term franchise, right? So whenever I look at terms as long-run franchises, I'm looking at the new Tom Cruise movie that didn't do so well. I'm looking
Mission
at Mission
Impossible.
Impossible. That get this, that's over a decade since that franchise started. It started in the 90s and it worked its
Yeah,
way up all the way down.
that's almost
So I
30
don't
years.
yeah, almost 30 years with this franchise. I don't know if people are getting tired of the Tom Cruise schnick where basically it's like going in for what can Tom do to beat out his other stunts versus watching a spy type film.
I mean, you can't have enough of him just jumping off of planes and stuff. I mean, there's plenty more movies to be made around that.
Right, there's some more stuff he can do. Just swimming with sharks. Uh,
Yes, he needs
right,
to be in the Meg
exactly.
movie.
How about this? Mission Impossible Open Water.
Brilliant idea. You can get Jason Statham and have a Meg crossover. It'll be a big hit. Huge.
Hopefully, it'll have a better hit than what it did on opening weekend for Meg 2. But Meg 2 did better overseas than it did in the US, though.
Do me to do
So,
that on purpose overseas.
you know me and my puns, Western. You know me and my puns, you know?
I know what they say about your puns.
You know what they say about those shark movies.
Oh yeah,
Gotta
they
stay out of the
bite.
water.
They bite.
Hard. Okay. Okay, so with that out of the way, um, I do want us to talk about Hasbro.
Hasbro, that's my favorite. Hasbro. It sounds like an old British mate.
Hasbro. I'll have a Hasbro.
Well, yes,
A
there
good
is
bro.
some news about
Some
Hasbro that I
news.
have up here. Well, recently they just announced entertainment division that'll be working on some of their IPs. For those that don't know what that stands for intellectual properties. And some of their properties would include the usual, not so surprising brands that they've already worked on, such as Transformers, GI Joe, My Little Pony, Peppa Pig, and Dungeons and Dragons. Recently had a movie. And some surprising choices are also in the list, such as Nerf, Play-Doh, and Magic the Gathering.
Okay, so I just saw the thing for Nerf just before we went live.
Make
I
me
had no
direct it. I
idea that was
had
a
Nerf.
Hasbro thing until you mentioned it. I tagged one of my friends and said, you know what? This would have been perfect in the 90s for us. All they had to do was film us doing stupid crap with Nerf
Right.
guns. And that
The
would be
Nerf,
it.
the movie, directed by John.
Coming soon to their near use. See them shoot like you never seen them shoot before. Watch them as they jump, as they fly through the air. Watch them as they shoot their friends with Nerf guns. But no, I think it's interesting for them to do a Nerf type movie. I just don't know how you would do a Nerf movie. That
I don't
unless it's
know.
going to be animated or something within that realm. Play-Doh, I can see
Yeah,
doing
Play-Doh,
like
I
a
can already automatically tell that's probably animated, going straight to
stop
streaming.
animated at that. You see
Straight to
it being
streaming.
stop animated, or do you see it being more of the 3D animation?
Probably the 3D CGI. I don't see it being traditionally animated at all.
Okay. You see, I think that Play-Doh is perfect whenever you think of the terms of like Gumby and things like that back in those days.
Mhm.
That would be the time that you would want a Play-Doh movie. You know what I mean? In the 80s. People play with kids play with Play-Doh, but it's not as heavy as it was back in the 80s to the
I mean,
90s because I remember playing with a bunch of Play-Doh stuff.
it's Play-Doh.
Exactly. But you remember all the other stuff that you used to have with it. You can make pizza. You can make all this other stuff with it.
All
I
right.
don't see them doing. I don't see that much Play-Doh stuff like I did back in those days. Any accessories?
Yeah, I agree. I think Play-Doh's kind of died down in recent years.
But I was wrong about that. Guess what? I cannot talk and say that this is a big mistake because look what happened with Barbie. And I'm
Which I
not the
was going to
demographic.
bring up
Right. In a few
Mattel
minutes.
in their lineup because it's a stark different. I think their lineup is more diverse. So get this,
But let's go
Mattel.
back with. But
Oh,
hold on.
did you want to talk
I
about
want to go
Mattel?
back with Hasbro for a minute
Okay, all right, go ahead.
because there are some properties that I find interesting. Aside from the Play-Doh, My Little Pony,
Like some of
even
the
though my
stuff I've
friend
already had
John,
movies.
my friend John busts my balls all the time and everything. You know you want to see that movie. I said, no.
You know you wanted. You know what they say about the ponies.
You gotta ride. Anyway, but okay, so the things that I find interesting is Magic the Gathering. I'm a huge Magic. I used to compete in tournaments, stuff like that with Magic the Gathering. I could see them doing different realms within the Magic the Gathering kind of setting, but
Mhm.
I think I would make that more animated than I would make it a live action adaptation because I think it flows better when you're going through different types of styles and different universes within those realms. It's just
Right.
easy to cross over with animation versus live action. Now, if they did choose to do live action, I would go with a TV series rather than a
Actually,
movie.
yeah, that makes sense. A whole show. I think they could be able to actually, flesh out, you know, different universes, different characters. Yeah, I'm rocking with a show. But yeah, I don't think it needs to be live action. They already
No.
have Dungeons and Dragons for that.
And that's also something else that they're developing over there, right? Another Dungeons and Dragon movie or no?
They just said they're going to expand on it.
But yeah, then they have Diablo. Diablo is another one that I think that would actually do really well.
Yeah, but I wonder who owns that. Is that Hasbro?
That's Blizzard. My bad.
Oh,
I bet. Well, guess what? They need to make a Diablo movie.
okay. Well,
So
we're gonna petition. Get a Diablo movie made.
I'm sorry about the screw up. I did not mean to screw up on that. Please, people. I'm a huge Diablo fan. I just happen to forget the name of the company, so I do apologize. But I think that doing a Magic the Gathering thing is smart. People still play Magic the Gathering. People still enjoy going to the tournaments. I think this would be an interesting concept to do. My Little Pony, Pippet the Pig, he has his own TV series. My son watches it all the time.
Yeah.
I don't need to sit through a 90-minute movie about Peppa the Pig.
Oh, but you will one day.
Unfortunately, I will. But okay, so now we're gonna go into the Barbie news.
Let's
Unless you
do it.
have but I think you said that you had something else that you wanted to talk about as well before that, right?
Yeah, Mattel's lineup. I don't know if you saw theirs.
No,
Okay, well, I think this was Hasbro trying to compete with Mattel's lineup of certain franchises and brands that they're adapting into movies. And once again, I think some of these have already had movies. But the list includes I saw Uno, Magic
I
8
didn't. See,
Ball, Hot Wheels and Barney, I've seen news about. Because I know Daniel Kaluuya is doing an R-rated Barney movie. Wishbone, Thomas the Tank Engine, American Girl, Polly Pocket, and Rock'em Sock'em Rockets.
I would watch that. I would seriously watch Rocket Sock and Robots. I don't care.
I really want to see what they do with Uno though, because that's probably going to cause a lot of arguments. That's not how we do that.
My question is this: it's like, damn it, Tom, you skipped my turn again. Brought forward.
No, that
Is it
we
just a bunch of
revert.
guys just sitting around a table playing Uno and they just bitching the whole entire time, or what? That's what I
I
want.
wonder. I wonder.
I
That
just
Uno
don't.
movie could probably cause a lot of debates.
They can actually do that for a cheap thing of $6 million. They don't even have to spend 150.
You're right. You're right.
I mean, come on. All you have to do is go to Walmart, get a thing of Uno cards, and get a camera, and that's it. You don't even have to do special effects. There's no
We'll
stunt
direct
work.
it ourselves for free.
I just don't know how they can do it. I just don't. And then Thomas the Train. No
Yeah, they
offense,
had a
but
movie years ago with the girl from Matilda. That was so many years ago.
that
I
was
don't know
something.
what they could do now. And
I can tell
American
you one thing.
Girl,
Thomas still goes choo choo. There's nothing there.
and Magic 8 Ball.
Is that on the list? Are you?
Yeah,
Are you? This is like an April Fool's list.
yeah, we're gonna do Magic 8 Ball and Barney and Wishbone and American Girl and Polly
My question
Pocket.
is this: okay, Wishbones was in the '90s,
Yeah, with the dog, right?
right? And I hate to say it, in 2023 world, how is that going to cross over? And I hate to say it, but I'm a 38-year-old man. I don't care about seeing Wishbone.
Right. The only
It's
dog
not
that
like it's going to
crossed
hit my
over.
nostalgia. People in the '90s are also in their late 20s and early
Right.
30s now. So how is that going to relate to them in nostalgia ways? Unless they bring now, okay. So unless it's not going to be for us, it's going to be for us bringing in a new generation of kids to be able to go out and see, just like how they did with Barbie. But I don't think it's going to transition the same way.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
just,
Wishbone's not Clifford. I'm conflicted.
um, let's see what else too. And what else did you say that they were doing?
I mentioned Hot Wheels, Barney, American Girl, and Polly Pocket. Now, the American Girl and Polly Pocket, I think they had direct-to-video anime movies years ago. So I don't know what they could do with those now.
I don't either. I mean, I can see them
But
trying to pull us in as because I have kids. I have a 11-year-old. So
yeah.
if I wanted to bring in some nostalgia for just saying, hey, look, I grew up with this. I think you would enjoy this too. Let's go see Wishbone. That would be the only draw. Because this is
And
not
their
for us.
response
This is for the
wouldn't be,
kids.
who's Wishbone?
I'll be wishing that I was not in the theater. But, you know.
Yes.
So what else did they have as far as Mattel goes? You said the Magic 8 Ball?
Yep. Uno, I mentioned. Hot Wheels. The Barney movie I've mentioned to
All you
you.
have to do is put Vin Diesel in Hot Wheels.
Right. Yes, it's family. We're going on this track 15 times. But at the end of the day, you know who we have? Family.
You have Corona.
I am Hot Wheel. I'm sorry. I'm Vin Diesel.
You know what? You don't even sound like Vin Diesel. You sound like he smoked a bunch of cigarettes. You
Just
know?
to sound like Vin Diesel, because that's how he sounds. You can hardly hear him.
But uh, Hot Wheels, I can see. Soccer robots, I can see. Magic 8 Ball. Is it gonna be like Jumanji,
Dude,
where
just
they get
shake it.
sucked into the shake it real good. But no, I was just wondering, is it gonna be like where they shake it and it's like outlook not so good? They get sucked into the Magic 8 Ball, and then whenever you shake, that's what they that's what happens.
Because I think I can totally see them trying to turn into a horror movie, like easily, just like they're trying to do with Barney.
Oh, good lord. But anyways, let's talk about Barbie. Okay,
Yes.
so I'm not the demographic for this film. I even thought that this movie wasn't going to be that great. I ate my words. People are going back. They're bringing their kids. They're going because you have the mother and daughter dynamic, where it's like I play with Barbies, you play with Barbies now. I have this connection with her, so therefore, let's go and see Barbie. So I totally understand it. I'm actually happy it made money and everything too, and I also like the fact that Margot Robbie made a bold statement to how she pitched it, because this
Yep.
movie is going to be $1 billion movie, and and she wasn't wrong. She made bank on it.
I want to make
There,
history. I can't do an Australian accent. I know she's Australian. She's not British.
but to know that it reaches 1 billion at the box office,
Yes,
and is
that's
and no
major.
movie in Warner Brothers history has sold so many tickets so fast. The studio said of the movie directed by Greta Gerwig said that. But
Yep.
also too, get this: Barbie bitch slapped Batman: The Dark Knight with her
Yes,
purse.
domestically alone. That's wild.
He went. Christian Bale goes, "I am Batman." To "I am Batman," because of the fact that
No, he's
he
Ken.
slapped.
He's just Ken
Yeah,
now.
but to know that Barbie made $1 billion, and
Yep.
it ended up destroying The Dark Knight, which is the highest grossing movie of Christopher Nolan and everything, that is mind boggling. I would never have thought in a billion years that would actually happen. What about you?
Yeah, man, that's just it's surreal. Beating the Dark Knight, I never would expect it. And the fact that it could possibly outdo Mario in less than 2 months. Like what?
Exactly. Exactly, man. And also, too, I mean, this goes to show you when people said that, oh, nobody wants to see any type of girl movies or anything like that, and Hollywood just, and nobody wants to see that. It just goes to show you how wrong they were.
Yeah.
And I'm rooting for this movie. I'm rooting for it. I'm happy that people have the fan base for Barbie, even though I'm not the demographic for it or anything like that. But I
Yeah.
still root for movies and people that movies that people love, even though I might not like them or anything per se. But that's just in the front row. Jamie, how you doing? Barbie is
In the
life.
front row.
Yep, Barbie
Barbie
is
is
life for
life.
Jamie. But I'm happy for it. I'm happy that Barbie did this. You
Yeah.
know, and also too, you have to look at this. Other films have also challenged the notion, including Wonder Woman, which was directed by Patty Jenkins and starred Gal Gadot, and collected 823 million worldwide to Warner Brothers in 2007. Then you also have Captain Marvel, which was directed by Anna Boden and Ryan Flick, and
Mm-hmm.
starring Brie Larson, and it took in 1.1 billion for Disney in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're not even going to talk about this. Twilight, based on Stephanie Meyer's novel and starring Kristen Stewart, was directed
Twilight.
by Catherine Hardwicke. It collected 408 million for Lionsgate in 2008, starting
Right.
a blockbuster franchise. Which is no, because don't forget, people who love watching movies that are based on novels and stuff like that.
True.
And even though the Twilight films are not for me, I do appreciate the people that are rooting for it and loves these movies. You
Yeah.
know, but also too, I have to mention that Miss Gerwig has so much money, about 140 million, to make such a pink movie. The studio signed Miss Gerwig and Margot Robbie, who played the title role, to contract that did not include provisions for sequels.
Right.
So another thing that's working for Barbie and everything too, it's something that we haven't seen before. And everybody's like glamoring all the way to comic book movies and everything else. And people are looking for something different now. People are looking for something unique, authentic,
Yep.
and Barbie did it for them. They're bringing in their daughters, mother and daughter dynamics, like I mentioned, and things like that. So it's working, and it's incredible for the way it's working.
Oh, absolutely. I can't wait to see how far this goes. Like it's got a long, long, long way to go up until Oscar season. So I'm very excited to see what it does.
And I want to just mention this. Josh Goldstein, which is Warner Brothers president of worldwide movie marketing, backed Barbie with a thundering promotional campaign. But it was a woman who, especially early on, pushed Barbie ahead in the face of skepticism. If ever there was an example of why Hollywood needs more women in positions of power, this was it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Roman said. So I feel like this movie speaks to women. This movie needs to be presented by women who understand Barbie, and it needs to be directed by a woman. Because if you direct it by a
Absolutely.
man, it's going to be over sexualization of
Oh,
who
film
Barbie
Twitter would
is.
have been a nightmare.
This would be directed by Michael Bay.
No,
That was.
don't even put that out there.
I'm just saying though, because if a man touched this movie, it would be over sexualization. It would have
All the
been
explosions. The explosions.
Michael Bay. But you know what I'm saying though. But
Yes.
I'm just thrilled over the $1 billion of Barbie, and I cannot praise it enough.
Absolutely.
But
Looking forward to check it out.
you know what? Jamie challenged me to check it out whenever it comes out on Blu-ray or DVD, even though she wants me to see it in theaters. I'm gonna go on ahead and see it on Blu-ray and stuff. And I am gonna do a review for it. Don
Oh,
and I both talked about it. We're gonna do a review on it.
okay, Ken. I hear you. I hear you, Ken.
Yep.
You gotta check it
Ken,
out.
I hear you. But it's just incredible at what has been done with Warner Brothers in showing that you don't need superhero movies to succeed. You just need to
Mhm.
make something authentic for it to succeed. Originality.
Yes. And
But
Barbie is definitely that.
it most definitely is. But is there anything else as far as movie news goes that you wanted?
Well, since this is going to be a continuous of shows that we'll be doing from time to time, we probably will be covering the strike the next time we'll be on together because
We'll do
the
a
negotiations still
small
developing,
piece on that.
as you can see. Hmm.
I said we'll do a small piece on that. Hopefully, the strike and everything
Okay.
has smoothed it over, because I want to do it where it's basically, if I'm going to do the strike, I want to do it right. I want to do it
Oh,
where
okay,
basically this
Doctor Strike. Right. Okay. Right.
exactly strike right. But yeah, I want to do it when it's right, because I want to focus on the positive of it, where finally the writers and actors get equal share pay, and to where
Hmm.
you actually have a story now to where it's positive rather than focusing on the negative. Because right now, all it is the negatives, and I want to focus mostly on the positives. Once
Yeah.
the deals and everything are in place, things like that. Right now, I think it's just best to just let it rest a little
Right. They're keeping it low key. They're keeping it quiet. So we too are going to be quiet until the strike is right. That should be the follow up to the price is right.
and then strike first.
Absolutely.
But anyways, Western, thank you so much for joining me for this segment. Guys, if you really liked this new segment, the way that we're doing it, please tell me in the comments below. Smash that like button, smash that comment button. Tell me what you guys think of Barbie making 50 million and making $1 billion now. And also, too, are you guys excited about Nerf? Are you guys excited about Magic the Gathering? Are you excited about Mattel's stories?
Are
Or
y'all checking
even
out?
if it's some right. Another thing too is this. If there's something that we haven't covered, tell us in the comments, and we'll try and cover that story for you. And we'll break it down and do what we do best. But don't forget to smash the like button. Don't forget to comment below. Don't forget to follow the Western Wonder on his podcast. He just dropped a new episode. I'm going to let him do some PR marketing for that episode now.
Oh, well, thank you very much, sir. Well, just recently, earlier on, I just dropped a new review for They Clone Tyrone, which released on Netflix less than a month ago. Has it been a month? Yeah, I think so. So it's a great movie, and hope you guys check it out. Coming up next for me is a review of Cocaine Bear, something I'm excited to review. That was my Oscar championing movie early on, and I don't know anymore.
All right, guys. So, going ahead, and also too, I just dropped a new audio episode just tonight, and that's chatting with producer Emily Rule. And she's a great producer. I ended up reviewing one of her short films for the Holy Short Film Festival, so go on and check that out. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a great and safe night, and bye bye. Bad fingers. Hold on.